Hey Taurus, welcome to my channel. This is Venus Baby Tarot, and I am here to give you a message today from Spirit. So we're going to see what Spirit has to say. Also, if you're looking for a personal session with me, you can book on my scheduler in the description box down below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you like my content. I really appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it and see what Spirit has for you. I forgot that I like to pull from the top. Oh my gosh, Twin Flame has come out for you guys again. That's so funny. So I'm going to read that as like a love story. It says, sow kindness, reap love. Oh my gosh, love just came out. That is so wild. Intuition. Wow. So we've got love coming to the surface, and then you have facade. Interesting. Let's get some tea leaves out here. Okay. You have increased material wealth, which is the fish. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross, which is the rooster. The turkey, someone is behaving stupidly. Let's get one of these or two. We have the carrot. We have the month of April, but I'm going to put that to the side and we'll see how that plays out, okay? So you have opportunity or a windfall. I actually feel like these should go together and these should go together. So what I'm kind of getting here is with this sow kindness, reap love here. So I kind of feel like there's a person in your life who I feel like this individual had a lot of wounds, had a lot of, ego, just really struggled to, sort of soften. I feel like this person really struggles to soften. And because this person struggles to soften, the wall that they put around themselves can be a very harsh barrier. And I feel like this individual ultimately craves love, craves security, craves comfort, but this person doesn't know how to show it. And because of the fact that this person doesn't know how to show it, I feel like this person lives their life through a facade, and the facade is, just this very tough skin, this tough barrier. But really underneath the surface, I feel like this individual is actually really soft, really sensitive, right? I feel like this individual really hurt you. I feel like that they had, like they were just, their behavior just was stupid in a sense, right? Like it was stupid, right? Like they pushed you away, but I feel like at the core of it, like this person really didn't want to push you away. I feel like what was going on with this person is that they were really struggling with a sense of security within themselves. They were really struggling with who they were. And I feel like because of the fact that this person was in so much of their, their 3D, like human-like qualities, just operating out of their wounds and projecting that onto you, it kind of mirrored back to you your own insecurities and things that you needed to heal within you. And I feel like there could have been a toxic dynamic between the two of you because of the fact that there were a lot of triggers, And I feel like this person was, constantly triggered emotionally, but they didn't know how to, be vulnerable and open and really connect with you emotionally. And so what happened instead was that they put a wall around themselves. They could have distanced themselves or avoided the situation entirely because of the fact that they just really did not know how to connect with their emotions. I feel like this person built walls around their heart so thick that it was absolutely impossible for you to penetrate. And that was really rooted in their own upbringing. It was rooted in their inability to be emotional or have feelings as a child. So in adulthood, they became somebody who, would rather just build a wall between the two of you than, and I wouldn't even say like rather, I feel like more like they built a wall between the two of you unconsciously, instead of, really softening and allowing their heart to open. And I feel like this person either said really harsh words to you, or this individual was just harsh in their energy towards you. And I feel that they're realizing now, like the way that they behaved and the things that unfolded between the two of you were things that could have been corrected. And they're ultimately feeling really dumb about it, you know? And that's on them. Like, I wouldn't say that somebody who is a wounded individual is dumb per se, but how we perceive ourselves, you know, sometimes it can be in a self-deprecating type of way. And I feel like this individual is feeling really bad about themselves right now. And I feel like you're being guided to just sow kindness and reap love with this individual, in terms of, and that doesn't mean accepting their behavior, just more like seeing and understanding that this individual was wounded and that this person really did the best that they could with what they knew at that time, even if it wasn't enough for you, you know, like even if it didn't meet your needs, and even if it mirrored back to you your own pain and your own insecurities, and it created a toxic dynamic, it was still the best that they could do at that time. And I feel like there was a deep sense of love with this individual, but I feel like one of you, I'm really kind of leaning more towards you, Taurus, like had the rose-colored glasses on about this person. And I feel like for so long, you just wanted to see the good qualities in this, like the really, you know, just the beautiful connection, regardless of who this is. Like, this could be a romantic relationship, a friend, a family. I am reading this twin flame card as a mirroring love story, okay? And we have love stories or love dynamics with lots of different types of relationships. But it didn't matter who this individual was. I feel like for so long you saw the good in them. And I feel like for so long, like you wanted to be this person that was present, and you showed up for them, and you showed them that you cared for them so much, you know? It's like you wanted to be a good person so much that you ended up losing sight of yourself. And I feel like you got really wrapped up in the facade of the connection. And it was so harmful in the end to see how this connection ended up destroying you, because of the fact that there was so much beauty, and it was so easy to fall into that beauty rather than seeing how this person was negatively impacting the connection, right? I feel like for some of you, like you intuitively may be feeling that this person is trying to connect with you. It could be through dreams, or, you know, this could be somebody who's even passed on, honestly. And you could just be, you know, thinking a lot about this person, hearing songs about this person, or, you know, that remind you of this person and things like that. And I'm just getting the sense that, like, you know, there's something that seems to be shifting within you, Taurus, where I feel like you're really starting to see this person as a whole and really love them for who they are as their damaged selves. But that doesn't mean that you're going to fold into their drama again. You know, we can love people from a distance and recognize that they're wounded individuals without signing on to their BS anymore. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes people just have to learn their own lessons the hard way. And sometimes that means that we have to excuse ourselves from their lives, you know? And, you know, I feel like you care so much about this individual, and I feel like you want to continue caring about this individual, but I also feel like you have to know where your boundaries are, okay? Like where your line in the sand is with this person. Because I feel like while there does seem to be a softening of this individual, I'm also getting the sense that this person still has a lot of ego. And remember, their ego, I feel like, they have the arrogant type of ego, and I feel like really their arrogant ego is just masking, you know, how they feel about themselves, which they ultimately feel like they're not enough, right? But what they present to the world is that, you know, they're this strong, confident person, but really they're just an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. You know what I mean? And I feel like you can, from a distance, love somebody and know that they are just inherently very damaged, and that is their lesson that they're learning in life, to really shed that ego and open up and learn to love themselves and to be vulnerable and really connect and work through their emotions and be able to work through issues with another person without pushing them away, right? And that was not your That was not your path to learn. I feel like your path to learn was more in terms of knowing when it was time to let go and knowing when it was time to lean in. And I feel like you could have hung on to this and tried to work on this so much, but I feel like they were constantly dangling, they were dangling the carrot in front of you. Like you were just constantly like trying to chase after and grasp something from this connection to meet your own needs, and they were never really giving you enough. It's like they were stringing you along so much, or they were devaluing you and only really coming around whenever they needed something. Like I said, this could be several different types of connection. Because you have the month of April here, you could hear from this person in the month of April. You could have left this person could have left your life, or you left their life in the month of April. This person could be could have been born in the month of April, but somehow the month of April is important. So let's go ahead and get your tarot out. Additionally, I'm seeing another story here about a love story, okay? And I do feel like there could be a new love story that's coming in. But I'm also getting the sense that there's something about an old love story, whether, like I said, whether or not it's family, friend, whatever, there's something about another person that you loved that has really been coming to the surface for you. And I feel like you're just seeing a lot of things. You have the 10 of Wands here. I feel like you're just seeing a lot of things about this situation, about this person. And I feel like ultimately, it is expanding your mind. I feel like because of this facade energy, before you didn't see the whole picture, but now you do, is what I'm getting. What else do we have for Taurus? We have the 5 of Cups. It did come out sideways though. So I feel like on one hand, there's been a period of grief, but then I feel like on the other hand, there's more of a, you've reached a point of letting go, like you're moving on, like you're closing that chapter and you're moving forward. You do have the Star card here, the Lover's card, the Page of Cups, and the World card on the bottom of the deck. I have no idea where I'm going to put this. I guess we'll put that right there. So, what I'm also seeing here is there was something about your solar plexus that was needing healing. And I feel like it was your own sense of self-value, right? I feel like ultimately, Taurus, and you guys keep in mind that this is a general reading, okay? The comments sometimes, I'm just astounded. Like, if the roles are reversed, the roles are reversed, okay? Like this is general. It's not going to be for everybody. This is not everybody's reading. Do you understand? Like this is a general reading. If you want a more personalized reading, you can book a personal session. You know what I mean? So anyway, so if the roles are reversed, switch them. And that's okay. That's okay. But anyway, I feel like there was a solar plexus wound within you. And I feel like it had to do with a person in your life. I'm really getting that it was either a father figure or a mother figure, but I'm leaning more towards father figure. A father figure who devalued you, who really didn't show up for you, didn't build up your sense of self-confidence. I feel like this individual, really made you feel like no matter what you did, you were never going to be enough for them. And because of that, I feel like you were perpetuating cycles and relationships, looking for that energy, trying to find that person that was going to fill that empty space that you had since you were a child in terms of your self-worth. And I get the sense that this individual who was very arrogant in your past really triggered healing for you with this Star card. And I feel like, it had a lot to do, obviously, with just how heavy and, could have even been chaotic this connection was, this toxic connection was, right? And just the grief that you had to go through and the really just like going through the maze of your mind and really trying to understand yourself and how you ended up in this type of dynamic and why and where it was rooted from. And, really just trying to sift through the kind of thoughts that you have in your mind or the tapes that circle around in your mind, about yourself. in which, you know, you could have been beating yourself down or thinking negatively about yourself, not liking the way that you looked or liking where you were at in life, and so on and so forth. And I feel like this connection really served as a catalyst for that healing, for that growth, for that change, and for closing out a cycle. In this time period, you could have found, honestly, that your intuitive gifts really started to expand because of the fact that you were shedding so many layers of your own ego. And I feel like in this particular situation, the side of the ego that really came out for you was not enough, feeling like you were not enough. And I feel like through this shedding process, you started to become more clear with your intuition. And I feel like you may have even gotten to a point where you started to see red flags a little bit better. You started to really see the truth in people. You were able to see through people's BS. You know, you were able to really be in tune with your own body and know when something is good for you and when it's not good for you, and so on and so forth. And because you have this Lovers card in this Page of Cups here, I mean, I feel like there could be a new love, new connection that's coming in or has recently come in for you. And I feel like you are in a space now, not where you're like, you know, anxious and overthinking things and worrying about things and feeling triggered about things, but I feel like you're just being really connected to your intuition and knowing when something is good for you and when it's not. Because the Lovers in the Page of Cups is here, I'm kind of getting the sense that, like, you know, you and this individual are mirroring back to each other a different type of energy, a different type of dynamic. Whereas before, I feel like you could have found this other individual in a dark place in your life, and both of your, you know, darker energies really reflected back onto the other, and it became just a really triggering kind of connection. Could have even been codependent, where you both needed each other so much, but yet were so wounded you couldn't make it work, right? And I feel like now you have like a more healing type of connection that's been coming in, where I feel like you are mirroring back to each other this type of energy with the Lovers card, like where one person has the key to the other person's heart, right? And I feel like there's just this glowing type of energy between you and this individual. Another energy that you have here is you have opportunity or windfall, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. I definitely see spiritual growth here, but I'm also seeing that like there's a new opportunity here that I feel like could heal your finances. And the other thing is that I was seeing here is that you could have been really struggling with feeling secure financially, and really it's been rooted in some very deep wounds around a lack of security in other areas of your life, and it's sort of just spread out into lots of areas in your life, right? And I feel like it's just been something that's been a struggle for you. Yeah, look, the Five of Wands, something that's been a struggle for you, like literally the Five of Wands, a struggle. But I'm just getting the sense that it's also something that I feel like you have become very aware of. Like you sort of see past it. I feel like you see how whoever hurt you in the past, like they were emotionally unavailable or incapable of meeting you where you were at because of their own set of issues. And I feel like, you know, you're seeing now that, like, you know, through understanding other people, you've become to understand yourself a little bit better. And I feel like you've been working on healing something about yourself that has made you feel unavailable or insecure or not fully present in your life, right? Because the true power is in the present moment. Look at that. You have the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. And you have the Strength card with the Queen of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So I'm getting here that it could have been a Leo. Okay, for one, it could have been a Leo. But I feel like what's happened with you here is with, you see how this Queen of Pentacles is climbing the ladder towards this star card. Like, I feel like there's been a rewriting of the narrative for you. And so because by rewriting the narrative, you're not just rewriting the narrative in your mind, you are rewriting the narrative in your energy in terms of what you're allowing your energy to receive. Where I feel like in the past, there could have been a perpetuation of painful cycles, right? Because of an individual who wounded your self-worth, and you started looking for something to make you feel loved or lovable, right? And in that process, ended up, in like attracting people who also did not feel lovable, right? And I feel like you've been climbing up out of that type of narrative. And because you've been climbing up out of that narrative, out of that vibrational frequency, you are now opening up to receiving love from an individual who also feels loved, right? Somebody who has done healing. Additionally, you are opening up to receiving more financially because you are inherently feeling like you deserve it, okay? Because you also have this Ace of Pentacles here. And I feel that, it's a new opportunity that comes in for you, a new financial opportunity, but additionally, it could be a new opportunity, a secure opportunity, a new relationship, engagement, that kind of thing that's coming in for you in terms of a lover's connection. And I feel like this all came about because of this strength energy that wraps up your reading. I feel like you sort of slayed, look, it's like you slayed the dragon within, right? And the dragon for you represented, the darker parts of your personality, the wounded parts of your personality, the cycles in your personality or in your energy, or the way that you love, the way that you move, the way that you overgive yourself. Like, I feel like there was sort of a, wrestling down of that energy to essentially eradicate, I wouldn't say eradicate the ego, because I don't really think that you ever really fully eradicate the ego. Honestly, that's, anytime like the ego comes out, like, say somebody really hurts you and in your mind you start thinking of all the ways that you're better than that person, that's just ego. Or, if you see somebody that has everything that you want, that you wish that you had, and you default mentally to, oh, I'll never be good enough for that, I'll never have that. That's the ego too, right? And I feel like there has been a process of like, I don't know why I keep getting wrestling, but because of this struggle, it's like you've had to fight with it, really to fight it off, to overcome this, right? To really see the power that you hold within you, to really see, I just saw this right dripping down, and I just heard nectar of life, which was another reading that we did, but anyway, that was funny. But to really, I feel like see, the how special you are, because whenever I was thinking of like the nectar of life, I was thinking of like inherently what we hold within us that is so masked by all of our life experiences here in this 3D world, right? And we become so detached from our divine essence within, right? And the divine essence exists everywhere, but we just become so detached by it because, like I've talked about before, what we are conditioned to do in this life, and just sort of the grind, the hustle and bustle, and just, the things that we have to do, to stay ahead, to pay our bills, to put food on the table. And it can really detach us from that spiritual nature. It really can, because we can just get so caught up in being a cog in the machine. But anyway, I feel like this is something that you've been really wrestling with. For some of you, this is a twin flame. Like, this person that we were talking about is a twin flame and has mirrored back all this healing for you. But I know that not everybody like alliance with the twin flame story, so I don't tend to talk too much about it, but this has come out now twice in 2 of my readings, so I will mention it. Now over here with this Queen of Wands energy, I feel like you have it's like you've closed out some, like a cycle within you, an energetic cycle, a vibrational cycle, a generational cycle, a mental cycle, like the narrative in your mind kind of cycle, right? I feel like you've closed this out. And you have been, I feel, reborn as this individual who naturally calls in, because the Queen of Wands is so attractive, right? And when I mean attractive, I don't just mean physically attractive. I mean that, like, the Queen of Wands attracts everything that she wants to her. And so you are now in this vibrational energy through a healing process in which you are naturally going to be attracting windfall of money, spiritual growth, or, financial growth, a love that could turn into an engagement, a marriage, a long-term commitment, that kind of thing. You are naturally attracting this, right? And because April is here, I feel like you're going to be seeing more of this energy unfolding for you between now and April. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I think I want to get you a closing oracle message. All right, closing oracle message for Taurus, please. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. Passion and pleasure. And infinite abundance. Like, these are beautiful cards to end your reading. Like, oh my God. That makes me really happy, because it's like what I'm getting for you is, you know how we were talking about this individual who was, ultimately, I feel like this person lived in a lot of pain in their life because they weren't allowed to fully express their emotions. And so it came out as ego, arrogance, just a barrier, that kind of thing. Like an energetic barrier, a wall. And it was difficult to penetrate, right? And so this individual perpetuates cycles like that, where throughout their life, they don't allow themselves to really feel joy, because whenever they close off from, discomfort, they also close themselves off from joy. And I feel like this individual has, perpetuated cycles in which they don't really get to feel a full spectrum of emotions, and they stay angry. You know what I mean? And I feel like for you, Taurus, I feel like somebody stole your joy as a child. They stole your joy and created a subconscious or an internal solar plexus wound for you in terms of your self-worth. And I feel like you inherently believed that either joy was something that you were going to continue to always have to strive for, or it was something that you were never going to truly be able to attain, because inherently, even on a subconscious level, I'm talking subconscious, like mentally, you could be saying to me right now, no, I believe I deserve joy. But the subconscious, what's in the subconscious are things that often we don't even know about, okay? Like, we don't even hear them, we don't even see them, like, we don't even understand these things about ourselves unless we really dive in and take an honest look at ourselves, okay? And I feel like you could have really felt like you were not allowed to feel that joy, because as a child, you had that joy taken away from you. When you think about a child, you just think of them like running around and squealing and smiling and giggling, right? But I feel like either you were asked to grow up too quickly, or you just didn't get to be a kid. You didn't get to feel that joy either because you were given a lot of responsibility, or you just had a very angry, distant parent that really snuffed that joy at a very young age because your emotional needs were not being met. and you really started to default to wondering why you weren't enough kind of energy, and that really framed who you were as a person, right? And I feel like now you've done some sort of healing, some shifting in your life, Taurus, that has opened you up to that joy that an inner child has, right? And instead of operating out of the wounded inner child, you are now getting to embrace the joyous inner child, right? And now it's like you're feeling like you finally get to savor life. You get to savor the moment. You get to be in the moment. You get to feel joy in the moment. You don't have to worry too much about the future, and you don't have to dwell too much on the past, because something has really shifted in you. Because I feel like inherently you feel like you deserve to be happy. And I can't even begin to tell you, like, there was a period in my life where a lot of, several of my mentors would say to me, why don't you just allow yourself to be happy? And the truth is that I grew up in a very chaotic, toxic home, and I didn't know joy. Okay. And it was something that I perpetuated cycles of chaos in relationships unconsciously. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Taurus. I had to heal that part of myself like many years ago. But anyway, and so now it's like you're opening up to infinite abundance. And the infinite abundance is coming in the form of money, okay? It's coming in the form of romantic connections, friendships, a community, family, like just feeling the bounty of life, finally getting to see the fruits of life, after everything that you've experienced. There has been a shift here for you, and I feel like it's absolutely beautiful. And I feel like that's the other reason why this April card is here, because what happens in April, that's when the flowers start to bloom, or they start to bud, and that's when there's this new life and spring and fresh new beginnings. And that's what I'm getting for you. It's like a fresh energy. Like, this card looks very much to me like the full energy. You're finally getting to be set free from this dragging energy, this baggage, these painful past wounds that have been weighing you down for so long. You finally get to close the chapter with the World card, or you have closed the chapter, but maybe you've been dealing with some of the residual effects. And I'm feeling now that you are it's like you're feeling free. And I just looked over here, and I noticed that kind of looks like Jesus, or the traditional depictions of Jesus, which aren't that traditional, okay, honestly, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave my opinions to myself on that. But so anyway, I noticed that it's like you were being saved and reborn from this, okay? That was interesting. I don't consider myself to be a religious person at all, but there was something about that I felt like needed to be said. Like, you're feeling reborn. Okay. So that's what I have for you. I hope this helps. Again, if you're looking for a personal session, you can click on my scheduler in the description box below. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me grow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.